record button. And welcome on behalf of DIIT. For those of you who've come to our Face Fridays, you already know who I am. My name's Laura Ogando, and I serve as the program manager for the Office of Digital Literacy and Inclusion. Lisa is not here today, unfortunately, but she sends a warm welcome on her behalf. She serves as my boss and the senior director of our office. And Christina, are you on the line just yet?
Yes.
I know.
I am.
Hi.
Hey, Hey, everybody. I'm so excited that this is starting back up. We definitely missed all of you, and we're so stoked for the year to come. I know that a bunch of you received the Coffee Tech Talk announcement that is happening on November 30th from 2:30 to 3:30. So please check your Microsoft Teams for that. We'll see you there. Passing it back to Laura for the rest of these intros.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? I just realized, I know why I was having a hard time finding Christina. I'm gonna embarrass her just ever so slightly, because I was looking to see in the participants, it's typically organized in alphabetical order so I could promote her to host. And now I realize, I'm like, oh, I was checking in the C's. My girl Christina became a doctor over the summer. Yeah, I'm shouting her out. All right. She has worked super, super hard, earned her doctorate degree. So it's no longer Christina Bastias. It is Dr. Christina Bastias. All right.
Thank you, Laura.
Respect.
Oh my God. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, this is exciting. Dr. Christina Baez.
I had to change it on the Zoom. You know, when you change it in the Zoom or on social media, it becomes real. So, you know, just had to do it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Derry.
Absolutely. I was like, wait, is she here? I'm like, why am I having a hard time? Now I know. It's all right. I got you, girl. I'm gonna check the D's now for doctor. All right, boss doctor over here. And I can't, finish out my shout outs without shouting out Latiqua. She always takes care of us. She's on the back end. You've already seen her posting all the important links for today. So we'll continue to keep on posting it as folks come into the room. But thank you to Latiqua, who always holds us down on the back end of things. It's so important for what we do, all right? I am now going to pass it over to Derry to introduce herself and her office.
Well, good morning, everyone. I feel like I can shout it out because I am so excited that we're back. I mean, we were counting the days. I was looking at your messages. You guys were like, when is Friday coming back? And we're here. So again, if you guys don't know me, my name is Derry Rodriguez, and I am from the Office of Family Community Empowerment. And if we have any face folks on the line, we're gonna have, like, our Fridays are gonna look a little different, but I'm excited to announce that starting next month, we will have a face update from our executive director, Sadie Campamoy. So this is your opportunity to hear right off the press anything that has to do with DOE updates that are related to FACE, which is family community engagement, any family facing. So I just want you guys to know that we are excited on behalf of FACE. We appreciate the work that you're doing. We're cheering you on, and we're hoping that, you know, we're going to continue to provide this wonderful learning opportunity. And shout out to our wonderful partners at the IIT. I just have to say, I mean, you guys really leveled us up last year, and I just can't wait to get some new tools in my toolbox. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Laura. We're going to start our presentation soon, and I just can't wait. Oh, wait, before we even start, I just have to say that today we are kicking off our first Friday with our wonderful partners at Learning Heroes. I mean, the first Friday with Wendy, and I can't wait to see Tali back, because Tali is coming back with some more resources. So with that, I'm Laura. I'm going to kick it back over to you to get us started.
Thank you. So again, welcome to everyone. I'm so excited to see so many folks in our room. I mean, you know, I know that this has been a slightly different start to the school year, but we're already at 140 folks, and something tells me we're going to get even more folks in the room. So again, real quick reminder before we officially kick it over to Wendy, if you don't see your friends here, remind them it is happening, all right? First official Friday of the 2021-2022 school year. So you already know the drill. We like to do some polls. We nosy. We want to know who's in the room. So 1 second, I am going to launch this poll. You should see that pop up for you right now. We like to know who's in the room. Do we got our parent coordinators, our family leadership coordinators, our family support coordinators? But we also know we get a few other folks in the room. So if you happen to be part of the administrative team, if you're a teacher, paraprofessional, or if you're another title, let us know. And if you happen to fall in the other category, let us know in the chat what you do. Because like I said, we nosy. Want to know who's coming to our stuff.
Absolutely.
Right?
Parent coordinators are coming in strong.
I love it. Yes, showing up.
I would like to also ask if this is your first Friday, let us know in the chat if this is your first Friday.
Oh,
Ooh,
we
yes,
got a couple of first timers.
Welcome, welcome to Friday.
You are in for a treat. The first timers are like, wait, what did I join? I feel like the first time is always like, is this a real thing? Don't worry, you're in the right place. You're going to have fun, but you're going to learn. All right. And that is precisely what we love doing. Okay. We love learning, but you know, just because we're learning doesn't mean we got to keep it all buttoned up and stiff. All right. We like to have fun. We like to connect with each other and grow. And that's what this is about. So I'm going to give us 5 more seconds before I wrap us up. We're on point today. I got 92% participation in this first poll. So here you go. Our PCs have overwhelmingly shown up this morning. But again, I want to extend a warm welcome to everybody who is here with us. So excited that you showed up. We really, really appreciate it. One more poll for you right now. 1 second here. You already know. We got to find out how you feel, and hopefully we got some good feelings, right? Some happy feelings. Only because you know, we just came off a day off. I feel like day after a day off always puts me in a real good mood. So there you go, folks. You should see the poll for how do you feel. I'm vibing right now. I'm like a cross between like happy and just like super excited. I'm having all the feels right now, but remember, perfectly okay to say like I'm a little tired. It's been a long week. That's all cool too. And remember, you can scroll down because you got those other options for folks who are like, none of these feelings are me right now. That's okay. You can select none of the feelings, or maybe you're feeling all the feelings. We've all been there.
I feel like we need to do a 2021-22 version of this.
I know, right? We got to update this. We will definitely do it.
I love it. It's taking me back. It's taking me back to the Friday vibes, to be honest.
Hello, everybody.
I missed the Friday vibes. Good morning, Juana. Yeah, I miss these vibes. We missed you. We missed you. I can't tell you. We're not lying when we said like we've been counting down the days. We've been talking about this. We have been wanting to do this for like the past 2 months, like ever since September hit. We were like, okay, so when are we bringing it back? And just, you know, the logistics of this year have not helped us. Hasn't really been on our side. Like I said, deployments just not our friend. We're hoping to never have to go through that again. But all this to say, we are officially back. I'm going to give folks about 2 more seconds. Last couple responses before I end this poll. All right. And it looks like we are, by and large, overwhelmingly happy. I see we're tired too, because let's face it, that's just like a permanent feeling for anyone who works in the DOE. I think we're always just a little tired. But again, glad to see you all here. Couple of more quick announcements before I officially kick it off to Wendy. So as Derry told you a moment ago, we're doing a new Friday format. So whereas last year this was an every week occurrence, we understand that this year it's just a little different in terms of, you know, the dynamic, what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis at your schools. And so in thinking about what would make sense for both you guys and the school community, and also our teams that are trying to support this work, we are going to shift to a once a month PD meeting, like what we are having today. So we will always have these every month. And we will also have a once a month coffee and tea tech talk, just as Christina said, and that's slated for November 30th, correct?
Yes, that is correct. 2:30 to 3:30. Everyone in the parent coordinator team does have the invite. So if you got this meeting forwarded to you, please make sure that you join the parent coordinator team. We'll put that in the chat right now.
Absolutely. So, and that team, just to piggyback off of what Christina's saying, that team is going to be your lifeline. You need to be part of it if you're not already, and I think many of you are, but that is where we will share information. And remember, even though we're kind of scaling things back to a once a month type of format, that is why the team is so important. Don't feel that you have to wait till that once a month opportunity to connect and to share. The team is meant to be a place where we can all contribute and kind of crowdsource, and you know, it's there for us to use. So even though we're scaling things back, again, the communication doesn't stop just because we're not meeting, you know, in this space. But this is our new Friday format. And as we did last year, we'll be taking your suggestions. We're not going to do it today because we already have our next session lined up. But we'll, as we move forward, we'll take your suggestions. We want to hear from you. What is the learning that you want? What are the topics that you need? What are the resources that are going to make you feel even more successful? All right. But with that, I don't want to take any more time because Wendy has the most awesome presentation, and she's going to walk us through some wonderful resources with her organization, Learning Heroes. So without further ado, I'm stopping my screen sharing. Wendy, it is over to you. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you so much, Laura. I am so excited. Thank you to you and Derry and the whole team, and for so many of you showing up this morning. It is rainy. It's a Friday. It's been a long week. We are here to learn from each other. I am hoping to share some resources that you can use as part of what you are already doing. And then, you know, quickly jump into breakout rooms for us to brainstorm together. Before I jump into my PowerPoint and share my screen, just a little bit about me. I've been doing family engagement for a long time. I taught for several years. That's how I got into this work. Doing home visits when I was a teacher, I just saw my own story as a Latina, as a first generation Colombian American. I saw my parents' story in the families of my children and just became really passionate in working with families. So I have a soft spot for teachers. This has not been an easy year for them. I also have a soft spot for parents and for parent coordinators. I'm a mama of two. I have a second grader and a 4-year-old, and it has not been easy. But if we have learned anything, I think it's that parents and teachers, we can't do it alone, right? We really need amazing, we need teamwork, we need partnership. And that's why I'm so excited to work with you all, because you play such an important role as trusted messengers in really, you know, connecting the dots between home and school. So with that, I am going to share my screen and jump into it. Give me a second here as we transition. Give me a second here. All right. So before we start, want to just start with a brief reflection question, and that is, as parent coordinators, as parents yourselves, as human beings, having lived especially this past year, what are some words that come to mind to describe family engagement? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Be honest, be true. What does family engagement mean to you? And I'm going to see if I can. All right. Connection. Somebody just asked if my sound is on. Laura, can you hear me?
You sound great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
can definitely hear you.
All right.
Yeah, you're coming in
Communication,
loud.
support, connection, getting families involved, understanding. I love that. Finding common ground. Yes. Challenging. Absolutely. Collaboration, resources. Love that. creating for involvement. Oh my gosh, thank you. Patience, absolutely. Building trust, first and foremost. Trust is foundational. Without that, we have nothing. And that's why you all matter so much. We know that sometimes families, may not have had a positive experience. That's just the reality, right? Or they may not, or navigating the school system might be new to them. That was certainly the case for my parents. Empathy, absolutely. And so you guys bring all of that to family engagement. Otherwise, it's just a jargony term in education, because the reality is that families are engaged, right? They're showing up, they're getting their kids to school. They are trying their best. Togetherness, I love this. And so that's what this workshop is about. That's what these resources about. It's about supporting you in the work. I want to share a little bit, as I'm going to share just a little bit of research with you, just to set the context for today. We're going to be releasing our Parents 2021 research in a couple of weeks. And really interestingly, this year, parents, teachers, and principals, when we ask them this question around what terms resonate most with them around family engagement, the words trust and teamwork rose to the top across all three audiences. And that to me is such a silver lining. Trust is so foundational, and teamwork, right? Sometimes we talk about partnership. Well, what does that mean? It's not about a contract. It's not about that formality, teamwork. And so that's why today is all about Team Up for Success and supporting you in this work. As I mentioned, we're going to share a little bit of data. I'm going to share some resources. We're going to do a little bit of a role play in experiencing one of those resources as parents. And then we're going to jump into breakout groups to brainstorm together on how you might be able to use these resources as part of your ongoing work. So as I shared, I work with an organization called Learning Heroes. We start everything we do by first listening to parents. We have done over 15 national studies, lots of focus groups to go deep into language and what resonates with families. We always do an oversample, and this to me is really important, with Latino and African-American families and low-income families, because we really want to reach all families, but especially families who have been traditionally marginalized by the system. And so I want to, as we transition into the resources, drop another Zoom poll for you. And that is, as you put your parent hat on or think of the families in your school, what percentage of families do you think would say their child is at or above grade level in reading and math? And then I'm going to share with you what families nationally report. What percentage of families would say their child is at or above? You guys are so great jumping into these Zooms today. Okay, majority saying 65, 39, give it a second. All right, Laura, you'll let me know. Give it a second more. It looks like the majority is coming in at 65. Second.
To end it, up to you.
Sure, yeah. So about the majority is saying 65, a lot of 39%. What percentage of families would say their child is at or above grade level in reading and math? Yeah, we can share the results. Oh, sorry, Laura. Laura, are you sharing the results? I'm sorry, I can't seem to get it off my screen. Apologies.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
it
great.
should be sharing.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, so the majority came in at 65. This stat we have been tracking over the past 6 years, and what we have seen consistently has become our sort of North Star, what we are trying to address at Learning Heroes. What we have found is that nearly 9 in 10, so 88% of families believe their child is at or above grade level in reading and math. When unfortunately we know, right, those of us working in education, that the difference is startling. It's closer to a third of our students at or above grade level. And for many of our Black and brown families and students, it's even lower. So for us, this is a big disconnect, right? Parents think that everything is okay. They're doing their job, they're engaged. And it also speaks to an opportunity. For us, this speaks to an opportunity to help connect those dots and link them really concretely back to learning, because we believe that in order for parents to partner with schools, they really deserve and need a more accurate picture of their child's progress. In digging into the why, right? Why is there that massive disconnect? What we have found is that grades really do play a big part of it, because there's a difference in understanding of what grades mean. So parents say that good grades equal grade level. They report that their kids are getting A's and B's, and they also believe that those A's and B's mean grade level. Teachers, however, in this research tell us that, and this probably won't surprise you, report cards, the grades, measure effort more than achievement, right? So if you think about that extra credit, all of that counts, right? And teachers go as far as to say that parents focus too much on report card grades alone. So for us, this really speaks to like just communicating that there are different measures, and that's where you all play such an important role, making sure that parents have access to those different measures, that they're not just paying attention to the grades, that they're trusting their own gut, because their observation as parents, that's a measure, right? If parents are observing that their children are struggling with homework, for example, that is a red flag, because homework is supposed to be a review of what's already been taught in the classroom. So for you all to share those messages, right? To share that, you know, again, if they're observing something at home, to raise their hand, to ask for help, to reach out to you, to find those additional resources. And just to bring it all together, last data slide, I promise. What we have seen in addition to this is that teachers say the number one way that parents can know how a child is progressing is regular communication with the teacher. And that's what we're going to be focused on today. It's not just about parent-teacher conferences. It's about that ongoing regular communication. You'll see that teachers rate report card grades a little bit farther down, right, in terms of accuracy for knowing how a child is progressing. Parents, on the other hand, on that right side, again, report card grades, they're really relying on those, but they only measure and only show us that much. And parents have regular communication with the teacher all the way far at the list. So what we're trying to do with these resources and these messages is arm you with ways to just balance this out a little bit. Share with parents, what are those, there are different measures. Share with them and give them the tools to be able to connect with their teacher in a way that is, really relational, right? It's concrete, it gives them information, and doesn't necessarily overwhelm the teacher, because we know that teachers have a lot on their plate as well. So that's it. That's a little bit of context. If you want to share any reflections, again, I want to keep this really conversational in the chat box. What we're going to do now is take a quick look at some resources on the Team Up for Success New York City page. We're going to look at these. Hopefully you can see my screen now. Let me get these. Give me a second here. All right. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. These are some resources that are really meant to support you in your outreach to families year round. And they really focus on, I would say, two main things: parent-teacher communication or homeschool communication, and supporting learning at home. They also focus on transition points. So what we're going to do now is just take I'm going to go over these at a high level, and then we're going to dig into one of them in a little bit of a role play, showing an example of how you can introduce these to your families as part of your workshops. So the first one that you'll see here on the list, and Laura, if you wouldn't mind, or here, I can actually do it. I'm going to drop this link in the chat box. All of these resources are at no cost to you. They are bilingual in English and in Spanish. You can take a look at these if you'd like as I'm going through them. The first one is called Dear Teacher. This is a new resource this year. You can click on the link here and you can take a look at it. Basically, it is all about introducing, I'm going to show you what it looks like in a customized way. You can, the family member would insert the teacher's name and then let them know about their child, about their family. It pre-populates with the names, sharing a little bit about what the family's goal for the student might be that year. And we created this year because what we have seen is that while some, apologies, I just clicked out of it. While some schools do this, not all do. And especially this year, we are all about helping parents share what they are observing at home, what they have observed about the past year, and sharing, what motivates their child. We have heard a lot of issues from, not issues, but concerns from parents around motivation. So while this Dear Teacher letter was great at the beginning of the year, it's not too late, right? It's something that, if the parent just feels like, I'm not sure that I want to share this, about my child, it can be shared, at this point in the year. The second one is the parent-teacher planning tool, and this is a great resource for before and right after conferences, which I know is what we're in the middle of. I just had mine this week. I know some are still having them, if I believe, into next week. So this is the tool that we're going to look at together in a moment, doing a little bit of a role play as if we were introducing it to parents. And somebody's asking, where can you find the parent letter? It's up here. I'm going to drop this again. All of the resources are on this page, and the Dear Teacher letter is the first one. You just click here and then you click into it and you can pre-populate it and download it and either attach it on an email or print it for yourself. All right. Apologies here as I'm trying to navigate the questions in the chat box. The third resource on here is called the Readiness Check. And we're going to also take a look at this one. This is a great tool to help parents get a sense of how their child is progressing. Again, leaning into wanting to have parents or wanting to provide parents with different measures to know how their child is progressing and giving them really specific resources to support at home. The last resource, or sorry, almost last resource on this page, I want to highlight, I know Derry mentioned there might be some high school parent coordinators on the line today. This is also a new resource. What we have seen is that transition points are really important, right? Especially as it relates to like knowing where your child is and where we want to help your child get to in terms of their goals. So this is called Paths to Success.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but yours.
Okay, somebody's saying many high school parents, great, parent coordinators. So this is a great resource for you. This is all about helping parents transition into high school. So this is great even for middle school parents who might be wondering about testing for high schools or classes. I would say it's great for middle school and through even 10th and 11th grade. Basically what it does is it brings parents through and providing them some guidance. No, you do not need a login. This is all open access. I'm going to give you a direct link into this one, though all of the resources are on that main New York City page that I highlighted for you. This is completely open access. You can share these with parents. You can use them. They are meant to support you. So you'll see here, it guides parents with the key milestones, high school graduation requirements, even gives parents like a freshman to senior year checklist, information about tests. It also gives parents information, I shouldn't say information, but resources and advice on social emotional skills. We know that that is a top priority for families. Not surprising, right? At the end of the day, we want our children to be happy and to feel good and to be motivated. So you'll see all kinds of great resources here specifically for parents of teenagers. Moving along here, you'll see, and this to me is so important, right? in high school, it's really important to start looking at like, what are those interests? What are those strengths? How do we connect that to career choices, and really looking at high school as a stepping stone to your future? So some great resources on here around career finders, just right choices in terms of classes, and really connecting it back to interests and strengths. Then there's a whole section here around class choices, getting ready for algebra, which is really important, and giving parents some concrete information around that, earning college credit, and AP as well. Finally, also top of mind for families always is financial planning. And so there's lots of information on here as well. So this is the one for you. Again, I can drop the link directly in for my high school parent coordinators, but if not, all of these resources are on this main NYC page, which we had dropped in earlier. This can be a go-to for you throughout the year. We will continue to work with Derry. I'm going to drop it in again. And then the last couple of really important things. We also have some great videos, and I want to give a shout out to our partner on the line, Janice Fold from WNET. We partner really closely with them, and I think she's participated on some of these. We're going to be looking at one of the resources in a moment when we do a little bit of a role play, introducing the tools. WNET has great videos. We have some videos, so you can always count on that. We also want to really encourage you guys to, while we're here together, sign up for our newsletter. We do a monthly parent newsletter in English and in Spanish with resources, with tips, with videos. If you sign up for this newsletter, it's free. We won't spam you, I promise. It's monthly. It's not like every week. You can then use this newsletter template, the information, and basically forward it to your parents, right? I know sometimes you're asked to do newsletters. This can be something ready-made for you. Again, I'm going to drop in the main link. The newsletter sign up is all the way at the bottom of the page. You sign up, and you can use that monthly parent newsletter in English and in Spanish every month to support you with your outreach. So I know I've been talking a lot at you. Soon we're going to jump into breakout groups and keep this really interactive. Again, all of these resources were designed with research in mind in terms of what parents tell us, language that we have tested, and really meant for you to adapt and use in different ways, right? You can use it by sharing via the newsletter. Again, if you sign up for that, forwarding it in your workshops, which is what we're about to dig into in a moment. What I'd love to do is I gave you a quick high level, right? Those are some of the resources. There's the Dear Teacher letter. There's the parent teacher planning tool. There's a readiness check. There's the paths to success for high schoolers. What we're going to do now is just take a couple of minutes, probably about 10 minutes. And we're going to jump into one of them in a little bit of a deeper way, but we're going to experience it as a parent, just as an example of how I might introduce this to parents. You would make it your own, obviously. But what I want to stress is that these are resources and videos that you can literally use either as one of your full 1 hour workshops, or if you want to complement and you say, you know what, I want to spend about 20 minutes on parent-teacher partnerships. This is the kind of resource that you can share in 10, 15 minutes, or even stretch it out to an hour, depending on the model, depending on how you are working with families. So if you don't mind, just like put on your parent hats, experience the next 10 minutes as a parent. And then after that, we're going to jump into breakout groups and debrief a little bit, share ideas on how you might be able to use these resources as soon as Monday. That's really the point, is to arm you with good content for your families. So welcome, parents. I am so excited to be here with you on this Friday afternoon. I know that many of you have either just wrapped up your parent-teacher conferences, or you're going to have them. I really want to support you in that ongoing communication with your child's teacher. Conferences are important, but we know it's only a short amount of time, right? We have like 8 to 15 minutes. It's not a lot of time. It's really meant to serve as a foundation. And teachers really say that the best way to know how your child is progressing is to be in regular communication. So that's what today is going to be about. I'm going to show you a tool that can hopefully support you, and I'm here to support you. And so before we jump into that, I want to just get a sense of, please introduce yourself in terms of how many, your name, how many children you have, perhaps their ages or grades. And if you wouldn't mind sharing in the chat box, or just if you want to reflect to yourself, that's okay too. What's one thing you feel really proud of this school year? And one thing you need support with? And that'll help me know either for today or for a future workshop. I really want to get a sense of, what are you feeling good about? What do you want to, tap yourself on the back for today? And what do you need support with? Okay. So if you want to participate, parent coordinators, just thinking as a parent. If not, I'm gonna move forward. But again, always good to just get a sense of how parents are feeling and get a sense of what they need from you in terms of future workshops. All right. So as I shared, we just got out of parent-teacher conferences, and I really want to support you in thinking about if you just, and some of you might still have them, right? So thinking about the conference as a continuum, thinking about what we can do before the conference, during the parent-teacher conference, and after, right? So before the conference, and this is, we have some tools that we're going to share with you today that can help you with this. Just thinking about, what do you want to share? What do you want to the teacher to know about your child? What makes them special? What have you noticed anything different about your child? During the conference, letting the teacher know that you care about them, that you care about that relationship. This is really important. If something seems unclear, parents, don't be afraid to ask. Say, I'm sorry, can you break down what that means? There's a lot of jargon that sometimes teachers share, and it's okay to ask. You're not alone in if you don't understand a specific term. During the conference, really important to ask, like, when's the next time we're going to communicate, or what's the best way to stay in touch? Let the teacher know what's the best way to be in touch with you. If you're not in front of your computer all day and not checking email all day, let them know that a text might work better. That really matters so that you can continue to be in touch. And then after the conference, if you didn't get to ask if there was questions or topics that you didn't get to, don't be afraid to follow up. And that's going to be the tool that I'm about to show you in a moment. That continued conversation is really important. Consider the key skills you want to continue supporting. And we're going to also provide a resource for that, and leaning into your child's interests. If there's nothing else you take away, parents, just know that you know your child best. By leaning into their interests and making learning fun and relevant and connecting it back to home life, that is your superpower as a parent. And so when in doubt, just lean into what you know about your child. All right, so we're going to take a look at a parent-teacher planning tool. And this tool is on the Team Up for Success New York City landing page. I'm going to click into it, and together we're going to take a look at it. Okay, this is something that you can print or email for yourself. It's interactive, parents, and it's something that you can use, the tool that you can use either before the parent-teacher conference or even afterwards. Again, that ongoing communication is really important. So the first section, help your teacher get to know your child. This is so important, especially after this year. So let's take a minute to think about, what's your child doing well in? What do they need more support with? What gets them excited? What gets them really motivated to learn? And finally, what are some changes that you might have noticed about your child, especially after this year? Let's just take a moment, and you don't have to think about all of them right now. Think about one or two that resonates most for you about what you want your teacher to know. Take a second, and I'm going to show you how this is interactive. So for me, my daughter's name is Simone, and one thing I really want her teacher to know is that Simone is a social child. Sorry about that. But she is shy to ask for help. And that is something that for me as a parent, I really want my teacher to know, because she might think, oh, she's really chatty with her friends and she's eager to raise her hand, but she doesn't want to disappoint. And so I've noticed this about her. She won't raise her hand if she doesn't understand something. So just think for yourself, what are some things that you want your child's teacher? And again, parent coordinators, we're thinking about this through the lens of a parent. This is how you could introduce it to them. Give them a couple of minutes during your workshop to reflect, take notes. If they're not tech savvy and they're not comfortable with this, that's okay. They can jot this down on a pen and paper. That's cool too. But if they are, this is something that's interactive. Again, you can continue to type notes here. This is all about helping your child's teacher get to know your child. Super important. Okay, you would give them a couple minutes. Again, this is an example of where if you only have 15 minutes with a parent, you can just sort of walk them through it, let them know how to use it. If you have a longer time, you could really give them the time to complete this and really think deeply about what they want to share with their child's teacher. And again, parent-teacher conferences, they're limited, right? We don't always get to share this. I, for example, didn't get to share this bit. I followed up with my child's teacher afterwards because we were mostly talking about academics and routines. And because we're new to the school, we ran out of time. The second part is all about pinpointing math and reading progress. Again, we really want to help you parents know how your child is progressing. Your observations really matter. Take note of that, how they're doing with homework. There's another tool that we want to introduce you to. It's called the readiness check. It's pretty simple to use. It only takes about 15 minutes. I'm going to click into here so that you see what it looks like. You can use it on your phone. You can use it on your tablet. It is all about knowing how your child learned last year's skills that are important for this year, right? So we worked with leading experts in reading and math to identify those key skills from last year that are needed for this year. So what you would do is, my daughter is in 2nd grade. So I would have her take the 1st grade one. I would click on 1st grade because I want to see, how did she end the year, especially after this year of disrupted learning, right? How did she learn? Because if she can't answer the 1st grade questions, that's important for me to know. That's important for me to share with my child's teacher. And it's okay for me to be reviewing those skills at home, in complementing her 2nd grade stuff. So I would hit 1st grade, and then you can click math or reading, right? For me, my child struggles more with math, so I'm really leaning into knowing how she's doing there. And then you would hit let's go. And basically,
Wendy, if you could just unmute yourself really quickly.
Yep, that's okay. Thank you. So again, this is from last year's skills, parents, and then you would hit math or reading. You would hit let's go. And for sake of time, I'm not going to take you through it right now, but basically it's really short. It's 3 to 5 questions in reading and math. And then at the end, you can click by the answers to see how your child did and get supported with very skill-specific resources and videos to support those skills at home. This is a great tool for holidays are coming up. We're going to be eating, we're going to be having fun, we're going to be dancing, but we also want to make sure that we're spending some time every day reviewing those key skills. So this is a great resource that is fun and is interactive that you can do over the holidays. So that's the readiness check. And that's the second part of this planning tool. You can share with your child's teacher, like, this is what I noticed. I took this readiness check and they still need to review last year's skills. I just want you to know that we're working on this at home. Wanted to communicate this to you. And so you would type your notes here on how they did on that readiness check. And then the last part, bringing it all together to partner up on a plan. Again, those conferences we just got out of, they are just the beginning part. We want to follow up. These are just some example questions to prompt you, but you can add your own or add your own notes from your child's conference. Some example questions might be, how will you know where my child needs more help, especially given, school disruption last year? The reason why we suggest to parents to ask this question is because teachers do a lot of what's called, is a very jargony word, formative assessments, benchmark assessments to see how our child is doing at key points in the year, especially in the beginning of the year. And so sometimes that's shared with parents, sometimes it's not. And so it's important for us to ask, what kinds of assessments are you using to support learning, especially this year? And can you share that with me? What are the most important skills my child needs to learn this year? This is important. And I want to focus on the most important. As parents, you don't need to feel overwhelmed in learning the whole curriculum and learning every detail. We just want to find out, what are those 3 to 5 or even 1 to 3? Let's land on 3. What are those 3 skills in math, let's say, that are really foundational for 2nd grade? Finding out and then asking, how can I support those skills at home? What are some games I can play? How can I connect that to everyday life? And again, we can take notes here with our parents. For my child, she's still focused on learning her math facts more fluidly. She's really still has some work to do on that fluidly. And as things get harder in 2nd grade, she's going to need to rely on that. So that's what we're working on at home. And if that's all we do, that's okay. That's what we're focused on so that she can advance to the harder stuff this year. I'm going to take us through here, and I want to show you, parents, how you can either hit here and you can print this. If you click here, it will pop up to your desktop and you can download it, or you can email it. I want to highlight for you though, if you hit email, you're going to have to enter your email down here. So you enter your email address or your teacher's email address, and you can send them these notes or send it to yourself, and then you can reference that as you're communicating with your child's teacher. So that's the parent-teacher planning tool. Parents, again, it's all about, now that we got out of conferences, we want to continue that communication. I am here for you to support you. Again, we're doing this role play, right? As a parent coordinator, come to me with questions. I want to show you before we sign off, I want to show you a parent from New York City, an example of how he communicates with his child's teacher, and hopefully technology will work with me. I see some questions in the chat box. I will answer them as we wrap up this small role play that we're doing right now, and how you can introduce this to parents, because we're going to debrief in a moment. Okay, so I'm not ignoring you. And so we're going to click into here. This is a parent from New York City. This was done by WNET, a great partner of
Hi,
ours.
I'm James, and my wife Kimberly and I have 3 wonderful boys, Jaden, Jordan, and Justin. The most important part of my life is being there with my kids. I know as a father that learning starts at home.
It's squished into juice. Hey, is that how we get grape juice?
Yeah.
It is very important for me to be there for my child's education. So I like to communicate with my child's teacher to let them know that, hey, we're a team.
Hey, Miss Man, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
And I want to be involved. I like to connect with my kids' teachers the first week of school, but it's never too late.
Oops, sorry guys. I don't know what I did there.
To do so. When I communicate with my kids' teachers, I also keep in mind that they're very busy. So I keep the messages very short and sweet. And I like to ask them, what is it that my kids are learning this year? What are the expectations? How do we know that they're actually achieving what you need them to achieve? What can I do to help my child? The goal for my child is to learn, and together with the teacher, I know we can fulfill that. Sometimes we need to practice their words or their numbers, especially multiplication. So we'll take it to the rooftop and we'll grab some chalk and we'll draw out the numbers. It's a cool way to reinforce the lessons that the kids have in school and have some fun with your child. I like to check in every couple weeks.
Because you moved up 2 reading levels this time.
Nice.
or whenever I see that my child is not learning what I think he's supposed to learn for that week. I also know that it's impossible for me to know all the answers. By building a solid relationship with the teacher, my child knows that I care, and so does the teacher. And that's a win for all of us.
Perfect job. Give me 5.
Give me
All
five.
right, let's go.
All right. So that is a video from WNET. They are a great partner of ours. They have several videos. Let me just get back here to my page. Thank you for your patience. Give me a moment here. So we're back here again. Those videos can be found on our Team Up for Success, that main page where I showed you the parent-teacher letter. And somebody is saying that they just use this. Great, we're going to debrief in a moment. I'm really excited to do that. So I want to highlight WNET has resources and videos on everything from turning math into everyday moments. They have on everyday routines. They also have a video on the readiness check, that resource that I just shared with you. So they're a really great resource and partner of ours, and really want to highlight that for you. Before we close out, parents, I just want to, any reflections or comments about that video? Did anything resonate for you? His name is James, I believe, and he's a New York City parent. One thing that I'll share that I love, and as you can see there, all of the videos are in WNET Parenting Minutes. Thank you, Janice. And so one of the things that I loved, several things, but I'll just point out, I love that he said, I know that my child's teacher is busy. So I want to just he thought ahead about those questions, right? He thought what he wanted to share. He thought what he wanted to ask. He was ready to then make it real, bring it to the rooftop, make it really visual for his child. There were so many things going on there. I think that we can learn from as parents. So I really want to, again, just finishing up here, as we close out this small role play, you always want to close with parents just getting a sense of how they're feeling, taking their ideas, their reflections, their questions in the chat box, asking parents how they're going to team up with their child's teacher, thinking about what they're already doing and what they want to be doing in the future. So I'm going to pause there, and then we're going to come, that was a small example, right? I know sometimes role plays are hard to sort of get into, but that was an example of, we did that in about 10 minutes, showing a parent-teacher planning tool, showing the video. You could, again, extend that out, as you can imagine, right? But as you see, these resources are really designed. You can, again, if you sign up for our monthly newsletter that was on that page, you can either forward that every month. You can use these as part of a workshop. There's a whole host of creative ways, right? Like virtually or in person, you can do it, even showing them in 10, 15 minutes. So what we're going to do now is I'm happy to take questions for a couple minutes because I know we might run out of time, but then I was also eager to jump into breakouts for about, I think we have until about 11:05, Derry, you mentioned, right? Let me know otherwise, Derry, but I think I have until 11:05. So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to jump into breakouts for us to just brainstorm together how you might be able to use these resources. I think there were some questions. How do we sign up for the newsletter? I'm going to, let me see here. If you go to this page at the bottom, I'll show you again, Team Up for Success, NYC. All of the resources are on here. So where you see the little bullet, that's where you can click on the resource. And then the newsletter is all the way at the bottom. If you enter your email here, you'll get a monthly parent newsletter in English and in Spanish that you can then forward to your families. Those monthly newsletters have tips, have resources, have videos, featured ideas. Sometimes we do a featured learning here to really inspire families. Again, it's in English and in Spanish. All right. I think there were some questions related to parents and teenagers that I would really highlight on that page that I just dropped in there, the paths to success. In terms of videos, I think, Janice, if I'm not mistaken, most of the parenting minutes are skewed a little bit younger, but there are certainly resources for high schoolers on that paths to success page. I'm starting to see if there's any other questions before we jump in. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into Jamboard. I hope if you guys are familiar with Jamboard, it's a little bit, it's interactive. I'm going to show you in a moment how to use it. And hopefully, oops, sorry. Give me one moment here. I am going to, oh, this was supposed to open. Sorry, give me a minute here. Technology. There we go. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to drop this in the chat box. Basically, we are going to break up into, there's a bunch of us on the line, which is super exciting. I think we're going to break up into groups of 20. The first thing you would do is go to the name, to the number here at the top, whatever group number breakout you have been assigned, you're going to come here and click to your page. So if you're in group 5, you come up here and you go into your group number. Okay, that's the first really important part so that we're not all on the same page, because there's a lot of us, which is exciting. So how do you use this? This is a chance for us to brainstorm. You can unmute and talk. If folks want to take notes, how can you use these resources to support your family outreach? If you go over here to the left-hand side, sticky note, you can say newsletter and maybe virtual workshops and ask, need to think about how long, need to think about and plan for how long. And then you save, and there you go. And then you can continue to add. Again, the sticky notes are over here. The sticky notes do pile on top of each other, so we'll be popping in and out to help you sort of sort them. And we're only going to be able to do this. Yes, I'm going to put the Jamboard in the link. I think we have about 5 minutes. I'm going to share this in the chat box. And then Laura, I think you were going to help me with breakouts. Is that right?
Yes. So breakout rooms just opened up. You should have seen a prompt on your screen. Go ahead and join it. If you are having difficulty, you can certainly stay here in the main room and let me know, and I can manually put you in. But everyone should have the ability now to go to their assigned breakout. So just, we kindly ask that you pop in there, utilize the Jamboard, and really use this time to connect and share with each other, because that's what this is all about.
Yeah. And so I know we're running short on time, so maybe about like 4 to 5 minutes just so that we can come back and close out.
Beautiful. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, guys. See you in the breakouts.
Hey, Ronald, I see you just joined.
Hey, Laura. I'm on time,
Hi.
by the way.
You are on time. We just went into breakout rooms, so they're going to come back in about 5 minutes. We'll wrap up, and then I know that you are going to be sharing some CS for All updates with this community, correct?
Yes, yes. I will make it
Beautiful,
quick.
beautiful. So you have no, oh, don't worry about it. You have some time though to sit and chill. So we'll cue you up. We'll let you know, but I didn't want you thinking like we were just letting you hang.
No, you would never let me hang, so I'm good to go. All right, so I'll turn off my camera and my mic, and just again give me a cue, and I'll get it started.
You got it. Thanks, Ron.
No problem.
And again, for folks that are here in the main room, you're welcome to stay here in the room. It's fine. I know some folks are in the chat saying they're unable to make it. It's okay. Don't worry. But if you do want to head into a breakout room and you're having difficulty getting there, just let me know. I can manually put you in. All right, and we're going to close out our breakout room. So I know we're going to see some folks starting to pop back into this main room. And again, just a friendly reminder to folks, we are a large crew of folks. We're at least before the breakouts, we were about a little over 200. So remember, keep your mics muted. We will have some time for Q&A for Wendy. So don't worry about that, but we're all in very noisy spaces. So just be mindful of that mute button on your Zoom.
All right, I think we have everybody coming back. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone, for jumping into those breakouts. I really appreciate everyone's time. Again, all of those resources are on that main NYC page. Really encourage you to fill out the newsletter. That I heard that folks thought that that could be something they could definitely use. And I think before I hand it back over to Derry and team, would love to just get a sense of how folks are feeling, get a sense of if these might be helpful to you. So I think, Laura, if you don't mind, we were going to do one last closing poll before I hand it over to you guys.
Yep, I got you covered. Great. All right, you should see a poll on your screen.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez, for your information. That's very, very helpful.
And just a friendly reminder that we will be sending out this pre-recorded video. So you will have it, I promise. And you have all the resources that are shared today. So wasn't this amazing? I told you guys.
Yes.
Team Up for Success. I love the title. I love the campaign. I'm always inspired by going into the Learning Hero website. So please go in and dive in and just kind of, just take a look at the things that are happening. So in the chat, let's just give Wendy another, and Janice. Janice is here from WNET. So let's just give them both a shout out just for bringing us this amazing information. Come on, Team Up for Success. We're teaming up.
Terry and Laura,
Yes.
I'm so happy to hear you guys. And happy Friday. But did I miss the meeting or did I miss the meeting or I haven't heard from you guys for a while? But I love all the training and excellent help.
Awesome. So we're gonna move on because guess what? I'm gonna call this segment. We about to hear about DOE important updates. So what I'm gonna do is the first presenter, and Wendy, we want to again thank you so much for being here, for giving us the tools that we need. At the end, I promise everyone will have a copy of today's video and resources. But if I need for everyone to mute yourself really quickly, and this time it's fresh off the press. I got the alerts. It's time to hear a face update. I know we do it earlier in the beginning of the presentation, but I got two amazing presenters for you guys. We're gonna stay. This meeting's supposed to give me 1 second.
This is what it means to work from like different spaces, right, Derry? I'm constantly getting interrupted by fire drills and announcements. Yeah, this is what I meant when we don't have acoustic privacy in these DOE spaces. So I feel your pain, Derry. I know.
That's how it goes, right, Laura?
Right. Sorry, guys. So let's welcome Ron Summers. Ron Summers. I'm gonna let you do your introductions. I apologize for my little break. It's Friday. Anything goes down. This is not about following the script. This is about us having fun, learning together. So come on, guys. Let's give a warm welcome to Ron Summers. Ron, welcome to Friday. And then we are going to stay here and we're going to learn about the screeners. So Julie's on the line, and after Ron, we're going to pass it over. I mean, it's all about a DOE update. So Ron, take it away.
All right, so Deary, thank you for welcoming me to the space. Laura, always good to see you. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm going to make this quick because I know you're trying to start what right now is a really rainy weekend, but I know you'll make the best of it anyway. So I'm going to present my screen really quickly. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. That would be great. All right. So my name is Ron Summers. I'm the Executive Director of Computer Science Education at the DOE. And I'm coming to you all today because I have some very important updates connected to the bigger fight that we all are part of, which is making sure our students and our children have access to computer science education from kindergarten through 12th grade. So if you don't know what the CS Roll Initiative is, and give you a quick breakdown, and the whole idea is that we are going to make sure that our female, our Black, and our Latinx students have access to computer science. You'll notice that early exposure, increased access, and belonging is highlighted. And that's because in our heart, we know that if we're not thinking about exposure happening at multiple entry points, if we're not thinking about increasing the access that actually happens in each community district, and we're not grounding that in belonging. So it's great that the tech companies are saying, I need more kids to learn these skills. Well, there's a lot of us who go into the tech companies and we leave because we don't feel like we belong. That's a huge part of our work. This is also connected to what we focus on. So we're thinking about our grade bands. We're thinking very specifically at our heart around our geographic regions. So I am from South Jamaica, Queens, right? D27. And again, my geographic region is very different from D3, or it's very different from D17. So we have to be very specific around what we're doing for each region. And then last but not least, making sure that there's some data around enrollment, because if we believe in exposure, access, and belonging, and we're trying to help schools implement CS, build a culture of CS, and also plan to make sure that computer science education is flourishing in the building, we have to think about all three of those areas. Again, grade, region, and enrollment. Now, I am here today, of course, by a wonderful invite from Deary to just talk a little bit about student and families. So this work doesn't happen unless we are thinking about community. And you probably heard that in many different ways from many NYC offices, but let's be real. Computer science education, no matter how beautiful it doesn't happen unless our parents know about it. They're able to advocate for it and be able to say, and I'm going to be a little frank here, where the hell is my CS? So what we want to do is be able to support you and be able to bring CS to your school building, to your district, because none of this matter if I, as a parent, don't know what CS is. I don't know how to have an effect on my child's future ability to be socially and economically mobile. And also, what are the levers that I can pull to make sure not only my kid gets it once, but is consistently getting it throughout their K-12 career. We do a ton of work when it comes to family and community engagement. I will actually send this slide deck out so that you can actually look at some of the pieces that we've done, but we've done everything from CS in the streets in the Bronx to thinking about the Queens Social Hackathon to just making sure that parents get as many opportunities to not only bring their students to get CS access, but for them to touch it and feel it, and be able to say, all right, this is what I'm gonna do to make sure this continues. So let's talk about your role. We really think it's important that we are collaborating to make this work stick. Yes, we will work with principals and yes, we will work with superintendents, but our parent coordinators and our FSOs are at the heart of this. And unless we're paying the proper attention to you all and giving you the resources that you need, we just don't really think the work that needs to happen outside of the classroom will continue. So we need your help in one, creating a welcoming environment for computer science, but we also need your help in thinking about how do we get parents involved. How do we make sure that the concerns of the actual community, the actual parents, is actually getting lifted up so we can figure out how we're going to make sure that doesn't happen again, or what can we do to improve something that we're already doing. And of course, the PTA and the parents associations are huge, right? They are always looking for ways to make the building better. And I want to make sure that we are also presenting ways that can help in those efforts. So here's the opportunity, and then I'll wrap it up. We have a humongous opportunity to receive funding around computer science education this school year. If you are high school and you are running advanced placement computer science, if you are simply thinking about family and community engagement from a CS lens, if you're thinking about what equity means so that everyone is represented at the table, if you are thinking about college and career readiness, this is an opportunity for your school to jump on to receive some additional funding. Specifically for your group, family and community empowerment funds are here, right? And you can apply for those. But I think in general, just learning about our offerings is super, super important because these are additional funds that can go into your building. And what I'm going to do in a moment is I will paste the link to our form in the chat, but here's the catch when it comes to this. Although I want you to do this, and I'm going to skip a slide, the window is closing. So by December 10th, if your school wants to request these funds in any of the areas, not just family community engagement, they need to do so by the end of Computer Science Education Week, which is the week of December 6th through the 10th. Again, I will paste the form into the chat, all right? But the idea is that if you are a CS rural school and you've been doing this work, these are additional resources for you to make that work grow even further. And of course, this is outside of the initial funding that we give schools specifically to train teachers and admins. This is those pieces that happen outside of the classroom, the enrichment experiences, the experiences where family member comes in, for family night, and you want to leverage computer science. This will be very, very helpful for them. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap only because it looks like Sergey has a question already. So I will pause. I don't know if I should hand the mic back to you, Daria or Laura, or if the floor is just simply open.
Let's
We can have Sergey ask
yes.
his question, right?
Yes.
Hey, everybody. This is Serge. Quick question, Mr. Summers. So I noticed that you said during the presentation, high school. Did I misunderstand? Because if we're saying that we would like our students to be exposed to this as early as possible, then why would it not be introduced to elementary and middle school? Or why would the option not be available to elementary and middle school? But then also thinking about District 75 students who are brilliant. I'm not saying that all of our students are not brilliant, but brilliant when it comes up to technology. And in my opinion, it's often them who really, really deserve that opportunity for computer science education. So I'm just wondering, is that open to those other three categories?
So Serge, and I'm sorry I pronounced your name incorrectly a few minutes ago.
No problem.
These are K-12 funds. And that specific example, I was referring to advanced placement CS, which is high school only. But these funds are available for K-12. Of course, we wouldn't give, APCS funds to a middle school or elementary school, but everything else is for K-12. And when it comes to D75, you're 100% right. My mother was a special education teacher. In the end, she used to teach me, every student has accommodation. It doesn't matter what your paperwork says. So yes, these funds are available to D75 schools.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My apologies for the misunderstanding.
No problem. I mispronounced your name, so we're even.
You said you was going to put the link in the chat. I didn't see it.
Yes, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to stop presenting so that I can do that.
Oh my God. So I told you, Digital Fridays, fresh off the press. I mean, we want to make sure that you guys are aware because it's about awareness. And we can't have Digital Friday without a computer genius, right? Without someone who understood how to create computers. So let's get computer science in all of our schools. And so the next step, talk to your principals and look at that budget. We're gonna send out the information. We're gonna put it on the Teams channel. Do not miss this. Please do not miss this deadline, please. Because one thing about this budget, it's also a part of parent engagement. And who does parent engagement? We do, and we do it right. So, okay, let's go to our next. This is a quick round. Like we're doing a round of DOE. So our next presenter really quickly is going to be the amazing Julie. And she's gonna tell us, have you guys heard about the screeners? In the chat, let me know if you heard about screeners. Social emotional learning screeners, something new. So what we're gonna do, we're not gonna go into a deep dive. We're just going to give you an overall, and also, guess what? A presentation that you can give to your school, to your parents. So with that, Julie, please mute yourself. Join us at our Digital Friday, because this is the best place to be on a Friday.
Thank you so much.
Yes, welcome.
Good morning. It's still morning, right? It seems like it's going on nonstop. Yeah, so still morning. Great. Hope everybody is doing well. As Derry just said, my name is Julie Mchadlashvili. I'm a Senior Director at Division of School Climate and Wellness, and part of my workflow is definitely working around DESA SEL screener. A lot of you already see that, know about it, heard about it, probably already did familiarization course. So that's going to be very briefly about this. This is not a presentation. I'm not as well equipped like the presenter before me with a computer science PowerPoint. I'm literally just going to talk very briefly about what you probably already know. And I do understand there is a lot of questions, but as soon as I finish talking, I will put some information in the chat for you on the info hub for you to find more about this. I'm glad, Suzette, that principal discussed it during her coffee conversation, because that's the more people in the community know about this work, the better it's going to be. So as it shared in a Maryland Chancellor announcement in December of 2020, New York City Department of Education planned for implementation of strength-based social emotional learning screener for 21-22 school year, and that's where we arrived. The screener is a tool to advance implementation of multi-tiered social, emotional, and mental health supports in schools, building on historic investments that New York City Department of Education has made over the past several years. By administering the screener and analyzing corresponding screener data, schools should be able to identify students' social emotional competencies, identify students who may benefit from the additional support, and identify opportunities to strengthen the foundational support provided to all students, including social emotional learning and academic integration. Your schools already have expansion of SEL programs like Harmony, used to be called Sanford Harmony, Yale Ruler, like mood meters that we see in so many elementary schools there and there, restorative practices, and curriculum that provided for the health education, along with hiring social workers and expansion of programs providing tier 2 and tier 3 support. All of this creates a strong foundation from which schools can leverage SEL data to support students. So DESA, which states for Devereux Student Strength Assessment, is a 40-question tool for K-8 students or 43-question tool for high school edition. It's a strength-based assessment that asks about 8 domains of student social emotional wellness: personal responsibility, optimistic thinking, goal-directed behavior, social awareness, decision-making, relationship skills, self-awareness, and self-management. All the skills that we need, not just in school, but when we talk about emotional intelligence, we know that it's super important to be successful in life. The screen is completed online with the pre-populated items and response choices. It's a Likert scale instrument with the response choices for each of the strength-based items. In other words, it goes from very frequently to never. It takes less than 5 minutes to complete if the student is, it's being done by the adult who knows the student well. It can be teacher, paraprofessional, parent coordinator, principal, administrator. And it's scored automatically through the online portal. The beauty about this is that you receive information immediately at your hands. For example, Eric, I'm looking at you, you scored me because you know me the best, and you will know immediately where I am, where my strengths are in social emotional learning, where it's typical, and where there is, if anything, there is a need to development. Scores are organized according to the 8 broad domains of social emotional competencies in categorization as typical performance, area of strength, and area of need. DESA Screener is a tool. That's what it is. It's an assessment to help schools advance implementation of multi-tiered system of social emotional learning support. Its benefit to students and educators is contingent on thoughtful data analysis and intervention planning. These processes ensure schools are able to leverage screener data to strengthen the foundational support provided to all students and to identify students who may benefit from additional support. It's not labeling, it's not diagnosis. Families are critical partners in the work of developing social emotional skills. And to that end, they are always invited to participate in conversations about how students perform in the DESA. Schools are encouraged to share information through existing family engaging channels like conferences, parent engagement time, and can also consult the principal digest from this week on November 9th to how have those family conversations about DESA scores and what are the next steps. If you have access to principal digest, please go into social emotional learning screener. There's a lot of links in there how to support with this. If you don't, ask your principal to forward you that information because it gives family guidance on SEL screener.
And I'm gonna quickly stop you really quickly because I love what you just said right now. We have so many questions around the screeners. But on behalf of the folks on the line, is there a one pager that perhaps you can share in the chat?
I will
questions.
Yeah, I will place an info hub that gives you not only just all the information in there, but it also has a FAQ, which is the questions are very similar. It also has links to the family facing website from the Aperture. So as soon as I'm done, and I'm almost done, I'll place it in there so you will be able to have access to this. It's actually a very useful resource, and we're updating this on a daily basis. We are encouraging schools to host town halls, community conversations, info sessions, or other opportunities for families to learn about social emotional learning, why it's important, where DESA fits into this, and it will also complement existing SEL supports at the school. Our family leadership coordinators were trained last week on this work, and they are planning engagement with parent coordinators in their districts around this work if it didn't happen already. We're also exploring the options how we can do the parent coordinator engagement on the larger scale, either citywide or borough-wide or district-wide. I do understand there is also a lot of questions. Those of you who did the familiarization training online, you'll probably already be able to answer those questions to your parents. If you didn't, I'll share the information into Info Hub. There's a lot of information in there. Okay. Derry, I believe I am done. I just need to put the Info Hub in.
All right, wonderful.
Listen,
so folks,
wow. Yes,
you told me.
We did it before 11:30. I told you this was the lightning round of DOE important updates. And I want to thank Julie. She came in here. It's a lot. She's working on making sure that the districts are aware, and that's our principals, our teachers, us. We actually got included in this plan because we know that we are the trusted messengers, like Wendy mentioned. I love that. We are the trusted messengers to our families. Before I turn it over to Laura for wrap up, I just want to quickly just kind of summarize today. Today we started off with talking about teaming up for success, and that's important. That's part of the communication, how we can communicate with our families. And it is about teaming up and about partnering. And part of if the dual capacity frameworks mentions when parents and families and communities work together, the child has a holistic support, right? And when it comes to their social and educational goals. So please take today as an opportunity to think about your family engagement plan, think about those parent toolkit. We also talked about part of the dual capacity and also Joyce Epstein's work where it talks about the 7 keys is connecting families to the resources and helping parents advocate. So today we learned about advocating for computer science. I can't say this enough. Please make sure to go back, look at the information, talk to your school team, and make sure that your school has a computer science for all. And lastly, we talked about SEL, the screeners. That's the talk right now, the DOE talk. You guys, we gave you Julie, who is a point person, making sure that everyone is aware of how we can communicate what is the SEL screeners. There's a lot of conversations parents want to know. So with that, I want to thank you guys on behalf of FACE. And I'm going to turn it over to Laura because Laura is our DITT wonderful host with Christina Baez. I miss Lisa and Latikwa. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. We're back. we are back, and we can't wait to see you guys next month. So bye, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And this is Derry. I'm out.
All right, folks. So before you officially log off, I know some of you have probably already been doing it, but please make sure if you haven't done so already that you fill out the attendance. That is what gives you credit for having been here. I know some folks have said they have to run. I love the people that think like, oh, if I put my name and my site in the chat, that's attendance. No, never works. Please don't do that. You're just wasting, your typing time. Fill out the attendance. Today's session is called Faith Fridays, Learning Heroes and Family Engagement. Remember, all of our courses are listed alphabetically. So if you're trying to figure out like, oh, where is it? Just scroll down. You'll see there's a couple of classes that say Faith. This one in particular says Faith Fridays, Learning Heroes and Family Engagement. All right, so make sure you fill out that form. Again, this is solely attendance. All right. You will then get a follow-up email before close of business today, asking you to give us some feedback. And if you need CTLE, then you can also earn CTLE as well. But this is, yes.
I'm sorry, it's not there. That topic, first Friday. I checking the attendance, it's not there.
Really? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. Hold on.
It's there.
It's there.
Because I'm
I
looking
clicked
at
on
it.
it.
Oh, face. Okay, yeah, okay.
I saw it, it's there.
Can you,
Sorry,
I'm sorry, can you
sorry.
provide the link here on the chat so that I could just click it into it?
Can you
Sorry.
send,
Yep, we will.
can you please send it again?
The link is in the chat.
We're going to drop it again. We'll drop
It's
it
at the
again.
11:30
It's okay.
hour.
Yeah, mine is
11:30
not
a.m.
opening up.
Thank you.
11:30 a.m. hour. Just scroll it up and you'll see 11:30 a.m.
You know what? I just
We're
love
also
the
dropping it
excitement.
in.
I
We're
love the
dropping it
excitement.
in several times.
I love the excitement in the chat. And I love that you guys are unmuting yourself. So what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna end the recording, and then we're gonna make sure that you guys are filling out the attendance. So we'll stay for a few minutes to ensure that you guys have access to the link.